So yeah, the investment to get access to Sales Hub is just a month or for the year.
It feels scary.
I've trained thousands of coaches in sales, and the number one request I always get is, can I watch you sell? Well, today's that day. If you're new here, my name is Connor Clark. I have taken over 2,500 sales calls, generated over $18 million online, coached a community of over 4,000 coaches in sales, and helped them generate over 200 million in sales for their businesses. And in this video, for the first time ever, I am sharing one of my live sales calls and breaking down the key moments for you all in real time. And if you'd like to go watch the entire call with no cuts and no commentary, the link is in the description. You can go watch the whole call there.
What do you think of the kinks right now, like the challenges you face?
Honestly, it was really more knowing that people are facing a lot of things in the HR industry right now. There's a lot of up and down. I'm not sure if you're following like the DEI space and things that are happening with people in the HR field feeling under threats, like their roles are being either not as secure as they were before. So knowing that people are already feeling stressed, and then also knowing that like when I have my calls, I know that when you teach your the videos that I've watched from you, you teach about getting them to enroll on the call. I've not been able to build that muscle yet, so they typically enroll after the call, which could be the reason why the drop off is as drastic as it is. Because I know just the people that I serve, people just aren't used to that type of investment in themselves initially. But then also leaning into videos and trying to go back and rework either my script or getting really clear on like those must-haves that must be in the sales calls.
Okay. So there's kind of like, you think the challenges right now are very much just within like sales and how you're doing the call specifically.
Yeah, I can get people on the phone. I can connect with people. People love to talk to me, but when it comes to getting them to invest and getting them to see the value in the program and getting them to understand to invest in themselves and not waiting on the employer to do it, that's really the biggest challenge.
How many people do you think you've like lost out on because of that?
So I would say of those 17 that didn't,
Yeah.
I would say probably at least 5. Because also through these 25 sales calls that I've had, I've also narrowed my niche. Because before it was departments of one, and then it was HR professionals. Now I've narrowed it down to HR managers, department leaders. So not everyone I've spoken to is a department leader. So that's also a difference too.
Yeah. So out of the 17, 5 of them were people that were 1, perfect, and 2 kind of like seemed excited to do this.
Absolutely.
So about $15,000 this year just in lost revenue because of your inability to sell.
Mm-hmm.
How does that feel?
It doesn't feel great. And I know that I'm in this, playing the long game, trying to figure this whole thing out because I still work full time too. So that's also another thing. Like it's what's the word? It's demotivating to continue to do all this work to get people on the phone to not have it turn out the right way. Like I can not have more calls. I can not get people to enroll and still have my free time.
So this is an example of a discovery, specifically learning about the current situation. Now, there are many aspects to the current situation, and if you go click the link in the description, you can watch the entire discovery and see every single question that I asked. But I wanted to highlight this question specifically because this is when we're, 1, learning about the challenge that this lead needs to overcome, and 2, we're putting a definite value to the cost of that challenge. Now, what is the challenge specifically? The challenge is the inability to make sales. Why is that important? Because Sales Hub is a program that teaches coaches to make more sales and maximize every single opportunity and every single lead that they're already generating. This means that we are totally aligned between what our program and what our solution offers and the challenge that is coming up on this call. Because there is a very definite cost to this challenge inside her business. And that challenge is 5 sales were lost because she does not have the ability and the skill set to learn how to actually enroll those people. That cost was literally $15,000 every single year. And that's not even at scale. That's just at the beginning of the business, which makes our offer when we ultimately get to pitching our program and our solution seem incredibly valuable because we now have a $15,000 a year problem that we are helping them overcome. And if you're getting value from this call review and think it'd be valuable for you to have your own calls reviewed so that you don't lose out on opportunities or sales calls that you have no idea why they didn't purchase, Sales Hub offers call reviews for every single member inside. If you'd like to inquire, go to joinsaleshub.com or click the link in the description to schedule a call.
What do you want to accomplish in 2026 then? Like, what's
if
the
I
goal?
can enroll 3 clients in 2025 with my limited knowledge, and these are the first these are the first high ticket people I could ever get to invest. My
Yeah.
goal for 2026 would be 10 people will be a dream.
Okay. So what would that be? 30,000 in revenue for the entire year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What would like, let's set that as the baseline goal. What's the ultimate goal?
Ultimate goal.
Yeah.
Ultimate goal. This is probably not a 2026 thing, but ultimate goal is to have a $30,000 year, $300,000 year. I mean, that's the
Okay.
ultimate goal,
So
$300,000.
so roughly 30K months,
Yes.
which would be 360. So it's more like $28,000 months, which is roughly about 9-ish clients.
Mm-hmm.
So about 118 in total for the year.
Mm-hmm.
When I say those numbers, how does that feel?
It feels lofty. It
Why?
feels ambitious
How come?
because I've only enrolled 3 people this year. So I feel like, think slow and steady. So to go from one to the other feels drastic.
So this is the second key moment in this call, because this is when we're really understanding about the desired situation and the value ultimately of your program and of your solution is the difference between their desired situation and their current situation. This gap between the two ultimately is the value that your program and your transformation provides for people. In this example, it's a really good example of extending the current situation further to create more value. So extending this further in this direction. How did I do that specifically? So on this call, you'll notice I asked what the goal was. The initial goal that was presented was $30,000, 10 sales. Now, is that a good goal? Yes. Is it the ultimate goal? Not really. Like, I could tell that this person wanted to accomplish more. So I asked, what is the ultimate goal? The ultimate goal extended to 300,000. And then from there, I was able to actually elaborate that it was more like 360, because 30 times by 12 was 360. So that's the first way that I extended the current situation. I just made their goal significantly larger. That makes my program significantly more valuable because the current situation has now gone from 30,000 to 360. And on top of that, we were able to extend that goal further by making that goal seem more realistic. How did we do that? By instead of it being 118 sales every single month, it was just 9 sales a month. So yes, there is this aspirational figure of $360,000 a year. Now going from 10,000 or 30,000 to 360 is a big gap. That can seem significantly overwhelming when talking to a lead. By making that goal seem more achievable and simpler to accomplish, we've now made the current situation seem easier to accomplish, hence making more valuable by extending the current situation further. Because instead of needing hundreds of sales, all we need is 9 a month.
So yeah, the investment to get access to Sales Hub is just a month or for the year.
Okay. So you would say by paying in advance.
You save by paying in advance. You essentially pay for 10 months instead of 12.
Okay. I'm trying to think. Okay.
How's that all feel?
It feels scary, even though I'm confident that it can work, but it feels a bit nerve-wracking just because it'll take a big investment from my business, but I gotta spend money to make money. So
okay, so take it you're ready to get started.
I am.
Okay.
So this is a really, really critical moment in this call. This is the moment that the decision was made and ultimately the sale was kind of completed. The reason that this is so critical is because 99.9% of sellers on this call would have gone into objection handling mode rather than recognizing that the decision had been made and actually going in and asking for the offer. What I mean specifically is if you circle back a little bit.
How's that all feel?
It feels scary.
People would ultimately hear it feels scary. And they would then imagine that they're going to have to handle some sort of objection around fear or risk and dive into overcoming objections and pushing people to make a decision. What I recognized in this call was that yes, there was fear and yes, there was risk, but ultimately she was ready to make the decision. And I knew that because of this moment.
But it feels a bit nerve-wracking.
Yes, it was nerve-wracking.
Just because it'll take a big investment from my business, but I gotta spend money to make money. So
I knew that she was ready to make this decision from the moment that she said you have to spend money to make money. And rather than bearing any weight to everything that was said at the beginning of that conversation or that sentence about being scared and being fearful, I was acutely listening to that sentence at the end, which was a key indicator that she was 100% ready to get started. So instead of going down the rabbit hole of trying to overcome objections and to force her to make a decision, I just went in for the ask. And I did it with a trial close.
Okay. So take it you're ready to get started.
I am.
Okay.
I identified on this call that this lead had made the decision. I identified that she was ready to get started, and you'll notice there was ultimately no objections because one, I didn't create objections by going into the fear and the risk and how scared she was to make the decision. I bared that no weight whatsoever. I also handled every single objection up front in the discovery and in the pitch. And if you'd like to go watch the entire call, not just the key moments, not just the highlights, but everything, the link is in the description. You can click there and go watch the entire call in its entirety. You can review that as many times as you'd like. So on this call, there were 3 key moments that led to an objectionless sale. The first was the current situation and really going deep to understand exactly what was going on for this lead. The second was the desired situation and not settling for lower goals, $30,000 a year, but extending those goals to $360,000 a year and making them more achievable through only needing 9 sales a month. The final section, which was the most pivotal moment of this entire call, was right at the close when we finally made the offer, not going down the rabbit hole, which 99.9% of sellers would have, to overcome objections that didn't exist, and rather just being extremely confident, listening at a high level, trusting my intuition that this lead had made the decision to join, and instead of trying to overcome objections that don't exist, just ask for the sale. And if you resonated with this video with like direct help, direct sales coaching, and direct call reviews of your sales calls, consider joining Sales Hub. There is a link in the description to go schedule a call. I'd obviously love to chat with you, and I'd love to see how I can help. And if you're still watching at this point in the video, 1, please consider subscribing to be notified of new videos that come out every week. 2, leave a comment in the description because I'd really love to know what your main takeaways are from this video so I can make more aligned content for you. And 3, if you'd like more sales training specifically for coaches on how to sell in a really authentic, service-based way, consider watching one of the videos that's now on the screen.